Hey everybody, welcome back to another 10-minute Marvel video. I am Petter, and I just finished watching the next 3 episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And last week I kind of just went non-spoiler with this. I'm going to give some non-spoiler thoughts, and then I'll let you know when I switch into spoilers here, because 3 episodes is a lot to talk about non-spoilers and just kind of generically. But the show, I think, really did a solid job of, well, one, introducing characters in fun ways, but then also of giving us a few twists and turns along the way. Are characters who we think they are is kind of one of the bigger questions that I have at this point. And I like it when a show does that. So, it's still fun. I would say it ramps up a little bit here, though. A little bit more serious, especially with some of the side characters and their stories that appear to kind of be the main arc, or one of the main arcs through this first season. I think, I think the payoff for that is going to be really well done. So, again, really fun 3 episodes. You gotta have good Spider-Man action in all of them. Some of it done for a little bit more silly reasons. Some of it done for just more interesting plot development reasons. In fact, a couple of them. And it's fun to see where I think one of my thoughts for this series was we're going to kind of have a villain of the week sort of feel to it. That's not the case anymore. We do get different villains popping up, but it's always layering in this nice backstory to it. And we're still getting that good Peter Parker Spider Man duality that you kind of expect from an early Peter Parker story as well. So I'm very much enjoying it. I think that these episodes, I'm not sure that they're better than the first two, but they're really fun and really well done. And if the story goes where I think it is potentially going, it's going to be really just impactful at the end, which is what you want from a show like this. Something that obviously, sure, it has a unique animation style, but that maybe it skirts that line of what age it's for. I really do think, and we talked about this on the 10 Minute Marvel podcast, you can check out the episode from this past week. We talked about how this is probably 10, 9 or 10 would be the age when I'd be like, yeah, kid, you can watch this because you'll understand some of the implications. And that's a good sweet spot for this. So I really appreciate that about it. Now, if you haven't watched the 3 episodes, we're moving into spoilers. In fact, if you haven't watched the 5 episodes, we're moving into spoilers at this point. So obviously, spoilers start now. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. You have been warned. Spoilers. Episode 3 kicks off in an interesting spot, and this is one of my big questions for this show. Norman Osborn. What's his motive? What motivates him? Is he good? Is he not? And obviously, we expect that Norman Osborn's going to become Green Goblin, but he's also helping out Spider-Man right now. At the end of episode 2, he figures out that Peter is Spider-Man. And we get this weird, goofy montage of Spider-Man trying out a whole bunch of different suits that Osborn is putting together for him. Not only that, Osborn kind of hacks in and works and helps Peter out. I don't trust Osborn. I mean, I don't think you give dialogue about how questionable Osborn is to Nico Minoru if Osborn's not questionable. But they're doing a really good job of playing him as not so questionable. And the more we watch this, I could see at the end of this season Osborn start working on a serum, something to become the Green Goblin, or that will lead to it. But we're not going to have, just from the feel of it to me, I don't think we're going to have a turn, a transformation completely. I do think we may have kind of a turn where Peter realizes, like, oh, Osborn isn't as good a person as I thought. Well, I like Harry and I'm good friends with Harry. That was a fun twist. I love how high schoolery and unaware Peter is about everything. So the taking off the mask and accidentally revealing that he is Spider-Man to Harry it's good. It works well, and it is that fun little twist on things that I enjoy. At the same time, it's how does that relationship grow, and how does Peter balance kind of all the friendships he has? That, I think, is going to be a really fun element of this show going forwards. Plus, and I want to get back to kind of that balancing act, because I think we're starting to see Peter do or not do some things. But I want to talk about Lonnie first as well. First off, I was surprisingly close on my guess for how he would become Tombstone. Now, obviously, he's just Tombstone in name. He's a part of the gang, and very much after his brother had joined the gang, and to get his brother out. I knew it would be something with the brother there. We had the whole police scene, the brother being part of the gang. It was like, honestly, probably fairly easy to call, but it's always fun when you get something mainly right. And him joining the gang, yet still trying to take part in his regular life, I think mirrors Peter in some ways. And both of them look at it as it's their responsibility. For Peter, it's with great power comes great responsibility, and to help like Aunt May, and to help the people in the streets of New York. But for Lonnie, he joins the gang because of it's his responsibility. I don't know like what's going on with his parents, like work-wise or anything like that, but it seems like they're not well off, obviously. Lonnie is kind of taking that step out from the neighborhood, but now he has to take the step back in. And it's his responsibility, or he feels like it is, to look after his brother, to take care of his family. And that's why he agrees. Now, I also think that it's intriguing here how we see these two different characters interacting with this responsibility. One is kind of letting it lead him down a dark side with Lonnie. He doesn't want to necessarily, but you can see he is starting to feel like family. He is starting to feel more like he belongs in the gang. He didn't for a long time. He felt like he was set up. He just wanted to get out. But now he feels like, okay, this is who I can talk with. They understand what I'm going through. And I mean, it's very kind of bro, not real conversation. And I don't think, I mean, there's trust, but I don't think there's real camaraderie, friendship, true friendship. Like you'd turn on somebody else to get a leg up in the gang. Or more so, the gang itself doesn't care about you. If you get busted, if you're worthless to the gang, you're out. But that's who he feels like he can talk to, not Pearl, not Peter, not really his football coach or people like that. And Peter, we're seeing the same thing. Peter is trying to juggle so many things right now. And for Peter, it's not necessarily leading him down a bad side of things, but there's Harry, there's Nico, and Nico 100% was like, oh, this may be kind of a date, and is very bummed not to have it with Peter. That's me reading into it. It's also just their good friendship, and she feels like with Peter's school, obviously school, they're in the same school, but with the internship that Peter has, with, well, his unknown part of the life, he hasn't been able to spend time with her, and she misses that. Like, as much as she talks about how she's one of the cool kids, I don't think she really is. We don't see that played out in the show. And Peter also has to deal with a friendship with Lonnie. And because of Peter's new life and kind of new ability to be a bigger hero, some of the previous life is suffering because of that. And I really like that element to the story. It's actually something I feel like we see kind of a parallel to in the main MCU, where, and we'll see what happens in Spider-Man 4, but Peter was doing all these big things, and he realized how it was impacting those around him. And at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, he is separate. He is just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man again, not trying to do too much or go too far. And I like how we're getting that similar moment here. Peter is, I mean, Osborn's given him a great suits, technically. And he has a chance to be big time and use all this fancy technology and stuff like that. But is he going to lose focus on the people he cares about most? And most likely that answer is going to be yes throughout this series. So I'm excited, real excited to see where this goes. If you made it this far, you've obviously, hopefully watched. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section below. Just remember, be respectful, and have great conversations and debates about this that are well thought out and, like I said, respectful. If you have any questions clarifying on that, check out the post in the post tabs on the channel. And check out the other videos. I've been putting out a bunch of stuff here on the Fantastic Four trailer that dropped yesterday. And if you want the full conversation on Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man or the Fantastic Four trailer or any other trailers we may get during the Super Bowl, look for the next episode of 10 Minute Marvel for that. Or if you want to hear the conversations on the first 2 episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, you can find the podcast for 10 Minute Marvel here on YouTube. Click onto the channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and we appreciate everybody who has and who's checking out the videos. And then click on the podcast tab. Or you can search for 10 Minute Marvel wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. But with that, we'll see you next time.